As we settle into the new year, it's always great to reflect on the past year, just to kind of see if we're on the right track, if we want to change things up, what we want to do in our lives. But also just to bring back some of those good memories and those things that remind us of the good parts of life. So as I was going through my 2024 planner, I decided to actually pull out my 2023 and 2022 just to kind of see if they were similar in the way that they chunked up and in the way that I use them. And yeah, they're pretty much the same. But still, it's always fun to look at how a planner changes from day 1 to day 365. So this is my daily planner, the one that I use every single day, not to be confused with another product that Sterling Ink sells, but this is the common planner in the N1 size, which is Standard Traveler's Notebook, and I use the full year version in the vertical weeks option. So setting up for the year, I didn't do too much, but I did include this mood board or vibes board, as I was calling it, because I was setting the vibes for the year. And looking back at it, I actually kind of love it. However, I never looked at it during the year. I never actually, flipped back to it, but I do like looking at it now. So I'm on the fence about whether I might want to include one for 2025. Anyway, you can see how I set up my swatch page for my markers and stamps, just so that I could know which inks I want to use and how they compare to one another. And also I use the quarterly pages for my swatches. So for the monthly swatches, where I was choosing which washi tapes and which markers I would use, also which fountain pen inks I would use as well. And my monthlies stay pretty much the same, kind of bare a little bit, but not too bare. Just making notes of those things that I might want to go back to see, making notes about appointments, and also something that I noticed between 2024 and 2023. I didn't do a lot of those little notes sections in my monthly layout. I don't have any reason why I didn't do them. I actually enjoy doing them, so that is something I think I want to bring back and incorporate into 2025. And that last monthly spread of 2024 was kind of barely used. And I feel like that's probably a theme, as you'll see as we get further into the December pages of my planners. So for the weeklies, I've been using this vertical layout, and I did flip through my older planners, and I was using it since 2022. So it's something that really sticks, and I'm always eager to try something new to see if I'll like something else. So that's why in February I tried a few different layouts. I do have a video all about that, which I'll link. And in trying those out, I found a winner, which I was calling my Nolte layout. So I used that for a couple of months, but as the months went on, I kind of realized that I wasn't using the notes section of that weekly layout a lot. So it just felt like I was wasting space in some kind of way. So if I don't have weeks where I need that extra note space, it does to me just kind of feel like a waste, and it looks a little bit too bare or too open. But I still quite enjoy the layout. I think I am going to revisit it, maybe in some kind of way, if I can figure out other things to put in that space. Now that I'm tracking my sleep a little more in detail, I could have put that there, but if you follow any of my recent videos, I think I'm going to be switching that sleep info over to my health planner, so it won't be in this daily planner. But then after that trial, I flipped back to the vertical layout that I am accustomed to using. Started that in July and loves it. But then I kind of felt like there was something missing. I almost felt a little bored with it. And I think, looking through the weeks now, I think it has to do with the fact that I was a little limited on deco, and for whatever reason, I think I like having that washi tape up at the top. I don't know what it does to my brain, but it kind of makes the spread look a little more balanced to me. So the way I use that washi strip across the top in the first weeks of the year, that's something that I feel like I was missing from the weekly layouts that I tried from, I think, July onward to like October. So when I revisit this layout, I'm going to incorporate that again. I have a lot of washi tapes to use up, but also I like the look. And then in October, I started using and sampling some other weekly layouts. Have a video about that as well, which I'll link for you. And in that sampling, I found another one that I really loved and I started using. I actually found a couple. This layout was very similar to that Nolte layout, and I did make better use of that space down in the notes area, but I felt like I was being redundant with that information and the stuff that I was tracking there. So it didn't feel like it was a good fit for me. So again, that's one of those ones, if I could think of something to fill in there, I would use it more often. But I revisited a vertical layout and then horizontal as well. And I liked where I did the little boxes for the horizontal weeks more than just a regular horizontal, but still vertical is my jam. So for the weeks of November and December, I stuck with that stacked vertical layout, which is what I'm calling it now. And I do have that sleep section over on the top right. Sleep and energy is what I was tracking, and I found it extremely useful. But like I said, moved it over to my health journal, so now that spot is empty, and I don't like that. So I'm trying to figure some things out. And then just after the weeks, you get into the notes pages where I did set up an index for 2024. I didn't use it a whole lot. I think I have most things indexed actually, so you can see that it's not even a full page. But I do like to reference some notes, maybe further into the weeks or the months of the year, and the index does help me to know where those notes are located. Immediately after that, I have my trackers. And looking at them, I realized I like a really full tracker too. So I want to start tracking more things. It's just the way I roll. And this little insert I put in here as a decorative just spot to land my eyes in my planner, and I thought that I could use it in a way to hide some personal notes, and I really do like that idea. I just never kind of put that into practice for 2024, so maybe I'll add that in 2025, who knows. But getting into more of my daily pages, this is where I just put down some tasks. I also do include some collections of things that I want to go back to. Like this one was for a VDS or Spek Nomad that I was planning out. I didn't order that one, but I actually did order the Giglio in the sand color. So that was kind of fulfilling that need for undyed in my life. So I never got around to ordering the VDS Nomad. But those are the types of collections or just spots for a little more deco that I add, a little more creativity that I'll add to my daily pages. And as you can see, I also stamped some things. I did the micro journaling each day, and that is something I have always done, will likely continue to do. And I am very grateful that I found a system that works for me. I won't say like planner peace because I mean, I don't know. Planner peace starts from within if we want to be like all philosophical. But this is a system that works for me. I've been using it for a few years now. And in times where I feel like maybe that's a little bit boring for me personally, not like for anyone else watching, but for me personally, where, you know, you kind of want to switch things up or you want to do something different, I always pretty much come back to the same type of system, no matter what size I'm actually using. Before my foray into Sandra Traveler's Notebook, I was using a B6 size, and I was pretty much doing this exact same thing, and it works for me, and I loved it. Moral of the story, do what works for you. But I actually really loved flipping through all of these pages that I had in my planner and reflecting on the memories, especially those monthly recaps where I would put a few pages or a few photos of things that happened during the month, along with a little blurb about whatever might have happened. That is something I loved seeing and loved adding to my planner. So it's something I want to continue to do going forward. And as you can see, I'm not opposed to blank space, even though I complained about not filling in notes in my weekly layouts. It's fine if pages are left blank. I don't stress out about it. I won't loop back to it. I'm perfectly okay with space or pages that don't get used. And I do have plans for spreads, and sometimes I don't come back to them, and that's okay. I've grown to be at peace with the fact that some pages just won't get used, or if I have some grand ideas of things that I want to add and I never have the time to kind of circle back to it, I'm okay with that, especially if it means that I'm not stressing myself out to include that information later. I don't ever want my planner to feel like it's work. It is actually working for me. So I don't want to feel like it's a task or a job or any kind of stress to maintain it. So whatever doesn't get done and doesn't get filled out, it's quite all right with me. And looking at these little post-its that I included in my planner, there are actually some things that I want to take with me into 2025, namely this monthly reset little post-it note. So I am going to remove that and use it in my current planner. Actually, I think I'll use it in my workbook, as I call it, because that's where I'm going to be doing a lot of those monthly recaps and things. I mentioned it in that setup video, but I will have future videos going over how I'm using the workbook in my planner system. Oh, this is also something else that I want to capture, to come back to. These are some notes I was taking about editing videos in Final Cut Pro. See, so it's helpful to kind of flip through. Helpful for me to be reminded of those things that are important that I want to come back to. And as we move into June, it's some of the same stuff. Just task lists and micro journaling. Some notes that I want to reflect on, to come back to. Something I didn't do this year was to utilize a lot of those vellum pages that I would receive in the Sterling Ink subscription kits. So I think I might start doing that again as well, because I have a ton of vellum that I just haven't been using lately. And as I flip through all of the months, I can kind of see when or where my preference for the way my pages look kind of evolved. I liked a lot more just doodling, a lot more hand lettering in certain things. And that's kind of the vibe I'm on right now. I've also started to incorporate a lot more stamping, which I'm loving. Oh, and August was fun. I did actually use those vellums to cut out some of those scenes and overlap them on top of some of the pages so that they could kind of be like decorative elements. So they kind of cover things up, but not to hide it, just to add additional deco to my pages wherever I see fit. And it's crazy how when you look back on the past, it doesn't feel, or it doesn't seem like that long ago. But when I think in my mind about August or about September, it kind of seems like it was a long time ago. But these memories are still really fresh in my mind. So I'm definitely thankful that I captured the memories, that I added this to my pages and to my daily planner, because they do bring a smile to my face every now and then. I had a planner journey video a couple of months ago, and I went through all of the planners that I do keep because I pretty much do keep all of my planners. I think the oldest one I have right now is from 2014, if I'm not mistaken. I do talk about it in that video, but it's very interesting to see how things have evolved over the years. And this is another one of those planners that I will keep, and I will flip through every now and again just to remind me of those core memories and those fun times that I don't want to forget. As you can see in that September review, I didn't stamp, so you're going to see a theme with the monthly reviews or recaps going forward. Like almost less and less deco or less and less attention paid to those recaps. Here's another spread that I intended to fill out, just never got around to it. Will I want to? I don't know. I had intended to use the space for something else, and I was just going to come back and fill that in with something else. But it didn't happen because it wasn't all that important. Now, here you can see October. I didn't even finish writing in all of the captions for the photos that I added to the recap. So we went from September, where I did no stamping. I did have all of the captions, to October, where I had all of the photos, just half of the captions. So it continues on. Some might even say it gets worse. And that's where I tipped in my planner audit freebie that I had linked in that planner audit video. I did notice as we got into the end of the year, I was doing less and less and less in my planner. I don't know if that means I did more and more in life. I would like to think I did. So for November, I did that November review. That was something new that I wanted to incorporate. But then as we flip the page, we get into that November recap and nope, nothing happened. All I got around to doing was stamping the word November. That was it. And that was partially also because I didn't have a lot of photos in my camera roll for November. I'm not a real big picture taker kind of person, so that explains that. But also, I think I just didn't put a whole lot of effort into capturing memories or photos in November. I don't know why. There was a lot of family time, a lot of opportunity to do it. It just didn't happen. And then that spread I was using for something for business that I wanted to remind myself of, but then I realized it's the end of 2024. I should probably move this to a 2024 book, so that's why that is blank. And then the very end of the year, I didn't do the last 2 weekly reviews or those summaries that I like to write out, and I absolutely did not do my December recap. So that was it. So like I said, as the year went on towards the end of the year, I used my planner pages less and less. Still use them for task lists, but didn't add in that extra deco, didn't add in that extra journaling, none of that, which is fine. I think it's just indicative of where I was in life at the time or at the moment. And I did end the year with a few blank pages in the back. I ended with about 25 blank pages at the end. So I feel like that's a planner well lived. That's a life well lived inside of a planner. So that's what all of 2024 looks like in my daily planner. Glimpses of life, glimpses of work, glimpses of stress, glimpses of happy times. And I'm excited to see how 2025 shapes up in this new planner. I'll be using the Sterling Ink Common Planner again. It's the same exact one, just a different cover. So I'm using the N1 size and the vertical layout, and it's for the full year. And this one has gilded edges, which I don't know why my 2024 doesn't. The 2025 does. I don't know why the 2024 doesn't. It's neither here nor there. But here you can see what a new book looks like compared to the full chunk of my fully used planner. Thank you so much for following along on today's video. I do actually have monthly flip videos for every single month of 2024. So if you want to see anything in more detail, you can check out those videos. They are over on my channel. And I appreciate you following along on today's video. I'll see you in the next one.